The invisible trigger, the mechanics of stuck. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, yet you're still running in place? You've read the books, you've bought the planners, you've set the alarms for 5 a.m., and you've pushed yourself to the brink of burnout. But despite the effort, that breakthrough remains just out of reach. What if the solution isn't doing more? What if the secret isn't a new strategy, a better app, or a more intense hustle? What if the solution is shifting how you see the things you're already doing? Welcome to the concept of the invisible trigger. Let's look at a scenario we've all faced. Imagine it's Monday morning. Your alarm goes off, and the first thought in your head is, "I have to go to work." Feel that for a second. There's a heaviness in your chest, a slight slump in your shoulders. The day feels like a mountain you're forced to climb. Now, let's apply a tiny, almost invisible mental tweak. Swap one word. Instead of "I have to," try "I get to." I get to go to work. Suddenly, the narrative changes. It implies opportunity. It implies that you have a job, you have an income, and you have a place where your skills are needed. That small shift doesn't change the traffic, your boss, or your to-do list, but it changes you. It changes your internal chemistry. That is the aha moment where you realize you aren't a victim of your schedule, you are the architect of your experience. The micro-shift macro-impact principle. This leads us to our core concept, the micro-shift macro-impact principle. In engineering, a 1-degree change in the trajectory of a rocket might seem insignificant at launch, but over thousands of miles, that 1 degree determines whether the rocket hits the moon or misses it by tens of thousands of miles. Our mindset works the same way. These seemingly insignificant internal shifts, the way we label a challenge, the way we talk to ourselves in the mirror, create disproportionate external results. When you change the invisible trigger inside your mind, you pull a lever that moves the entire world around you.
Unlocking hidden potential. How do we actually start unlocking this potential? It begins by changing how we define a problem. Most people see a challenge as a roadblock, a sign to stop or a reason to complain. But what if we viewed every challenge as a learning opportunity? When you encounter a roadblock, the invisible trigger asks, "What is this trying to teach me?" instead of "Why is this happening to me?" This immediately changes your physiological response. You move from a state of fight or flight, stress, to a state of curiosity and resolution, growth. You aren't just surviving the obstacle, you're using it as fuel. The power of yet. There is one word that is perhaps the most powerful tool in the growth mindset toolkit: yet. I don't know how to do this yet. I haven't reached my goal yet. I'm not good at public speaking yet. Adding yet to the end of a sentence transforms a limiting belief into an open possibility. It acknowledges your current reality without making it your permanent destiny. It's a bridge between who you are and who you are becoming. Without that one word, your brain closes the file on that skill. With it, your brain stays hungry, looking for ways to bridge the gap. Reframing failure. We need to talk about failure. Our culture treats failure like a stain, something to be ashamed of. But the most successful people on the planet have a different invisible trigger for failure. Instead of saying, "I failed," they say, "I learned." Think of a scientist in a lab. If an experiment doesn't work, they don't throw their hands up and say, "I'm a failure as a human being." They say, "The data shows this path doesn't work. Let's try the next one." When you reframe failure as data, you become resilient. You stop fearing the wrong move and start valuing the next move.
Real-world ripples. Personal growth examples. Let's look at how this plays out in the real world. Consider someone struggling with their health. For years, they tried every diet, but they viewed exercise as a punishment for what they ate. The trigger was, I have to suffer to be thin. Then they shifted the trigger to, I move because I love what my body can do. This one shift changed everything. They stopped skipping workouts because it was no longer a chore, it was a celebration. Their well-being improved not because they tried harder, but because they felt better about the process. Professional breakthroughs. In the business world, we see this in the shift from scarcity to abundance. A leader who operates from scarcity sees every colleague as competition and every mistake as a threat to their position. They gatekeep information and create a toxic environment. But when that leader shifts to an abundance mindset, they realize that collaboration creates more value for everyone. They start mentoring others, sharing credit, and taking risks. The result? They aren't just nicer, they are more successful. Their teams are more productive, their retention is higher, and they are promoted faster. Their internal shift created a professional breakthrough that no management strategy could ever replicate. The domino effect. This is what I call the domino effect. You might think you're only changing how you view your morning coffee or your commute, but these shifts don't stay in boxes. When you practice getting to do your work, you return home with more energy for your family. When you start using yet at the gym, you start using it in your marriage or your side hustle. One small internal change ripples outward, improving areas of your life you weren't even consciously trying to fix.
The practical playbook. Step 1. Identify your limiting beliefs. You cannot change what you cannot see. Spend the next 24 hours being a thought detective. Every time you feel frustrated, anxious, or stuck, stop and ask, what is the underlying thought here? Is it, I'm not good enough? Is it, this always happens to me? Write it down. Bring the invisible trigger into the light. Step 2. The what if challenge. Once you've identified a negative thought, challenge it with what if. Thought. This project is going to be a disaster. What if? What if this project is the thing that finally proves my capability? Thought. Nobody will listen to my ideas. What if? What if my perspective is exactly what the team has been missing? What if isn't about blind optimism, it's about opening the door to alternative realities that are just as likely to be true as the negative ones. Step 3. Conscious practice and reinforcement. Mindset is a muscle, not a light switch. You need actionable steps. The morning reframe. Before you check your phone, name 3 things you get to do today. The evening audit. At the end of the day, identify one moment where you chose learning over failure. Visual cues. Put a sticky note on your monitor that just says, yet. It sounds simple, but it's a physical anchor for your new mental habit. Your transformative journey begins. The snowball effect. Remember, you don't need to change your entire life today. You just need to change one trigger. These consistent small shifts accumulate. It's a snowball rolling down a mountain. At first, it's tiny and slow, but as it picks up more yet, more opportunity, and more abundance, it becomes an unstoppable force of change. Beyond motivation. I want to be clear, this isn't just about feeling good. This isn't toxic positivity where we pretend everything is perfect. This is about functional psychology. This is about creating tangible, measurable results in your bank account, your relationships, and your health by optimizing the software that runs your brain. Motivation is a feeling that fades. A mindset shift is a structural change that lasts. Call to action. So here is my challenge to you. Don't just watch this video and move on to the next one. Identify one mindset shift you will implement this week. Are you going to swap have to for get to? Are you going to add yet to your vocabulary, or are you going to reframe a recent failure as a lesson? Leave a comment below and tell me what is the one ripple you're going to start today. Let's start a conversation and see how these invisible triggers can create a visible transformation in our lives.